Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome. It's been a while since we've been here, but now we are back on iRacing and back to the GT3 series. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much from everyone supporting us, specifically thanks to the ASRF and Speed Tavern, as well as our media partner Gallery Creators. Salam sejahtera kepada semua penonton Gallery Creator. Hari ini kita akan cuba mix sikit BM dengan BI sekali. So my name is Max Palmer and we are here at Autodromo Nazionale Monza, or Monza National Circuit, for the GT3 series. It's been a while since we've been here with the GT3 cars, but it looks like it's going to be a very exciting race. We have a lot of drivers here this evening, so we've got some nice guys, some of the old school guys and the new school guys as well. As you can see there, that's Abdul Hakim from Brunei. We've got quite a big Brunei contingent here. I saw on social media that Jeffrey Con is out there racing as well. Quite a few drivers are out as well. We've just joined the action right at the start of qualifying right now, and first car out on track is Abdul Hakim with Muhammad Mohaimin and Mazdi Mardini, Jeffrey Con as well. Looks like it's a huge crew of Bruneians right now, coming around the track there. Ooh, very, very wide there, coming through the first Lesmos before coming through the second Lesmos. Of course, the outlap doesn't count towards your qualifying time. All you have to do is get one fast lap in order to get a decent run through there. We'll see if we could follow one of these guys around the track here, because it's a very, very spectacular and quite a legendary racetrack as well. Built before World War II, the Monza circuit is set in a royal park and is one of the oldest F1 venues there. It has been on every single Formula One World Championship calendar except for 1980, when a certain other Italian racetrack, Imola, got its debut. But now let's see if we can get on board with, I think this is Abdul Hakim right now, coming out of Parabolica and onto the start of the lap right now. 230, 240 kilometers an hour. This is one of the longest straights in the F1 calendar, coming down towards the braking zones. This must be the biggest braking zone of any racing driver's career. Hard on the brakes, third, second, first, into the first chicane there. Very, very important to make sure the car doesn't oversteer, or even more importantly, it doesn't understeer. Now coming up towards the fast right-hander here, this is the Curva Grande. Formula One drivers used to have to come through here at over 280 kilometers an hour without downforce in the 1960s, but now we have the chicanes to try and make everything just a little bit safer there. Through the second chicane here, beware of the curbs as you come out towards there. It's a bit of a faster chicane. You can take it in second gear. Now coming up to Lesmo. Lesmo 1's a little bit tighter than Lesmo 2. Incidentally, this Lesmo is actually a few meters to the right, further to the right compared to the original. Now very fast exit through Lesmo 2 there. As you can see there, Abdul Hakim pushing the car as hard as possible. A little bit ragged in some places there, but definitely not shy in giving it the beans. Nick Lofty saying there, welcome back iRacers. Indeed, welcome back right now. Ascari chicane up next. This has to be one of my favorite parts of the track. Full commitment, full attack, maximum attack. Use all of the road on the exit there before coming down towards the back straight here, and one more corner to go. Hard underneath the bridge there, going up towards 56 kilometers an hour. 256 kilometers an hour before braking, going down to third gear and going through Parabolica. It's tight on entry, but very, very, very fast on the exit. Fourth gear. Coming up towards fifth gear there. You can hear the engine straining as it comes across the line here. Let's see what lap time he could do. 150.065. Quite a quick time for Abdul Hakim there, but I'm pretty sure that there will be faster drivers coming very, very soon. Shame Aizan there is out there on track there. Sharon Norafudin also here. Afif Fadlan, Nevsky Chin, Simon Sanchez also out on track. Jeffrey Con's gone faster, 149.656 there. He takes provisional pole position there. Nevsky Chin now beats it, 148.607. This is Very exciting times here. Only 15 minutes left on the clock there for qualifying before we go into the race. So pada masa sekarang kita berada di sesi kelayakan di Monza, sirkuit Monza. Sekarang ni kita berada dengan Samir Aizan, tapi sekarang masa terpantas ialah Nevsky Chin dengan masa 1 minit 48.607 saat. So 148.607 there for Nevsky Chin. Very, very exciting stuff indeed. For those of you who are wondering, fortunately Budi isn't able to make it today, so I do apologize if there's slightly bigger gaps than usual between sentences. I have to get used to the old solo run tonight, but anything.
Don't worry, Max, I'm here.
There you go. We have our director Kara Alang as well in the studio. We have quite a few drivers in the studio with us as well in lobby on Discord on iRacing. So any of the drivers who are listening to us right now who want to get in on the action can head on over to the Discord, Adrenaline Impact Vertex Discord, and check us out in the iRacing lobby voice chat there. So very exciting stuff here. We've seen Iman Danish out on track there. In fact, the drivers for our previous prize drive actually got to meet him, and we actually saw him out on track there with the CRX, looking very, very quick indeed. And he's definitely very, very quick in these GT3 cars. It's quite easy to say that I think in and around the Asia Pacific region, the GT3 category has to be one of the most popular categories in iRacing, along with the MX-5s and a couple of the other series as well. But this is absolutely, I think, the top line series here in Asia, and it's nice to get back into the swing of things there. Nevsky Chin still the fastest out on track there. Quite a few drivers.
Yeah, I think the Mercs are dominating since it's a very, very fresh car. Yeah,
Yep.
The latest addition to iRacing, updated 2020. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's brand new right now. I guess, as it's usually the case with iRacing, a new car comes in and it tends to be quite quick on the off there. But these GT3 Mercedes are actually very, very quick in a straight line. You've seen that at Sepang as well during testing, that these cars do have a bit of an advantage in top-end speed there. But of course, with GT3, any advantage that any cars have is really only a temporary one until the BOP kicks in, and some of the other cars will be brought forwards, some of the other cars will be pulled back. So kepada siapa-siapa yang nak tanya pasal BOP ataupun balance of performance, ialah satu sistem di dalam kategori GT3 dan TCR. Bagaimana kalau kita ada sebuah jentera yang lagi laju daripada jentera lain, dia akan diberi penalty dari segi berat yang lebih dan restrictor ataupun intake restrictor yang lebih kecil. So engine yang slow sikit dan kereta yang berat sikit, dia akan perlahankan kereta. So itulah sistem yang kita boleh dapatkan perlumbaan yang agak best lah nak tengok.
Seronok lah tengok kan.
Seronok.
Iman Danish dia belum clock lagi anytime. Kita tengok what's going on with him. He's one of the two Ferraris on track today with Azman, I think driven by Botet. Yeah. So we'll see dominance of German cars today.
German cars and semi-German cars there with the Lamborghinis. Of course, Lamborghini now using a lot of Audi technology in their cars right now, but still proudly built in Bologna, Italy. And these cars, meanwhile, from Maranello, not that far away from Monza circuit, incidentally. But you can see there, Iman Danish, he has an absolutely fantastic driving style in these mid-engine GT3 cars. Fantastic, flowing, very, very fast, and definitely a real student of racing lines, as you'll see. Coming through the Ascari chicane here, hard on the brakes. He just feeds the car through the first section, takes as much curb as he dares, barely needs to graze that second curb, but he uses every single inch of the road in order to make sure that he can get a good lap time. Farouz Fadzil is also out there on track. That's another face that we saw during testing on Monday. We saw that content on Adrenaline Impact. That was quite fun. there. If you're wondering where I went in all of that content, I was there pouring the oil. Working on the rest of the car as well, but the glamour shot.
The messiest version of Max Palmer we ever seen. It was on Monday.
Yep, running around in circles there, but it's nice to get back to the track and do what I was going to say what I love doing, but it's really hot now. Air-conditioned room better.
Yeah, here's Zainal Hazim, one of the top 5 finishers in tires, I think. Yeah, as I can, if not mistaken. Well, he was very good at championship. These guys love GT3, so we're waiting for an opportunity to do one more if we get the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to be able to get back into iRacing, into GT3 racing, and have quite a bit of fun, because these cars are quite fun. There's quite a lot that goes into racing these cars. There's Zainal there deciding to quit that lap, perhaps retiring and maybe keeping another attempt in the back there. That's Shukran going around the corner there in the Petronas, very nice Petronas Synthium livery on his Mercedes there. So yeah, there's quite a few drivers that were from that series, and it's great to see nowadays a lot of the drivers moving between sim platforms. We're on the iRacing platform right now, but it's nice to see some of the guys going into Assetto Corsa, ACC, R Factor 2 as well. We've seen a couple of drivers dip their toes into that. Ooh, big sideways moment there. That's a very bad attempt at the first corner there from Shukran, throwing it into the first corner like a rally driver. Not quite the best way to get around that corner there, but again, it's so easy to brake just 10 meters too late and get yourself into trouble going to that turn 1. It's going to be interesting, shall we say, to see how the first lap is going to go. I think there's an old saying there, discretion is the better part of valor when it comes to coming into that first corner. But right now, Iman Danish has gone quickest, 148.462 there for Iman Danish, putting him right at the top of the leaderboard there. Taki is in second position, Nevsky Chin in third, Simon Sanchez in fourth, Kalvinder Singh in fifth, Malvinderjit Singh in sixth place there. So the top 6 in the 149s and the top 12 within 2 seconds of each other, 1 second of each other actually at this point. So absolutely spectacular stuff indeed. There we can see the nationalities of all the drivers there. Of course, quite a few Malaysians joining us this evening. Natural for a Malaysian series there, but we've got drivers from Macau and Brunei as well.
Yeah, thanks guys for joining this comeback for iRacing. We've left it for quite some time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We were quite busy on the AC side of things, but it's great to try and come back to iRacing here. I think it's definitely the biggest esports platform in the world of sim racing, and it really is very esports ready. It's designed for you to go out there and get into as many competitions as possible. And that's the thing with sim racing. If you want to get good at it, there's no point in really just hot lapping all the time. It's the best way to get good at any sort of sim racing is to just go out there and enter as many races as possible. And here is a driver that knows all about that. It's Kalvinder Singh. Let's see what time he can come up with coming into the braking zone there. 133s into the braking zone for the final corner here. This might be quick actually. He is green on all his sectors compared to his personal best, and he's purple in sectors 1 and sectors 3. We've split the track up into 5 sectors here so that we can tell exactly how fast the driver's going there. Kalvinder Singh trying to keep that line as close as possible.
No improvement
there. He just lost a little bit of time there in the final sector. It's very difficult to get that final sector right.
Hey guys, sorry, just came into the studio. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
So hey, what about this BMW? I think this is the new. Is this the new BMW? There was a release of BMW GT3 and GT4 as well, right? 3 weeks ago.
I think this must be was it the M4?
There's an M4 and there's
Yeah, this is the new GT3.
Yeah, that's it. This is the one.
The new M4 GT3 there. That's Taufik Mohin there in 16th position there, going around the track right now. Very, very nice looking car actually. But there's been quite a few new cars in the GT3 category since the last time we've had GT3 racing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, how that changes the iRacing GT3 landscape, because as you know, it's quite often the case when iRacing adds a new car into the game, and it takes a while for the BOP to sort of shake itself out after a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It might take a little bit of time for that to happen. Those Mercedes look fantastic as well, actually.
Yeah, they're absolutely suited for this track here.
Oh, we have a Ferrari down there.
Asman
And Danish as well.
Yep. And Iman Danish, they're neatly sandwiching the entire field there. Iman Danish proving that Ferrari can be fast here at Monza. And Asman perhaps they have had a slight mistake. He's usually a little bit faster than that, I will be honest. But that is qualifying done there. Iman Danish in first position, followed by Taki in second and Nevsky Chin in third place. So itu dia sesi kelayakan sudah tamat dan kita akan pergi ke grid pada masa-masa sebentar lagi. Iman Danish di tempat yang pertama, Muhammad Taki di tempat yang kedua, Nevsky Chin di tempat yang ketiga, Simon Sanchez daripada Macau di tempat yang keempat, Kevin Singh di tempat yang kelima dan Malvidijit Singh di tempat yang keenam. Kita akan ada sistem rolling start untuk perlumbaan ini. So rolling start kepada sesiapa yang pernah main Daytona USA, diorang dah tahu. Tetapi kepada siapa-siapa yang belum lagi pernah main game Daytona USA dekat arcade zaman dulu, diorang akan berjalan dulu di dalam formation ataupun di dalam peralatan ya. I guess it's peralatan. So
dalam formasi.
There you go.
Of course, formasi. It makes total sense.
Try to remember the names. Yeah, so dia akan keluar di dalam formasi dan bila dia masuk ke dalam start finish area sahaja, baru dia boleh bermula berlumba.
See that that elevation, what do you call that corner there?
Bunker.
Bank. Yeah, the bank looks very steep there.
Yep, that's because
like
that's because this track used to be 10 kilometers long, and that bridge you see that drivers drive over, it's actually holding up the oval section of the track. So you did basically one lap on the road course, and then you would switch lanes and jump onto the oval for a high-speed finish to the lap there. So it's a very unique race and a very unique style of circuit. But unfortunately, the banking was very, very dangerous to race on. Quite a few people, unfortunately, lost their lives on there. So for safety reasons, they are unable to race on banking. But still, it has been preserved and kept as a historical monument to the 50s.
Yeah, I remember those old Formula 1 cars, right? Going insanely fast through there.
Yep. And just imagine doing 175 miles an hour, 280 kilometers an hour in a front engine car with no crash structure,
safety equipment,
and no seatbelts.
And no seatbelts.
Yeah. So there you go. We're coming up to the final corner here. Iman Danish on pole position there, just trying to keep the tires warm. He's using the throttle and the brakes there to try and keep the brakes, heat the wheels, and heat the tires as well before we come to the start-finish straight here. The Porsche 911 safety car is about to pull off there. The driver's getting a little bit nervous. Times are tense, and we can feel every single rattle of the car as they come to the start-finish straight. This is when the nerves are highest. Iman Danish keeping everyone at a crawl here. Will we see another lightning start there? The lights are about to go on and off, and away we go. I believe this is go.
Yeah.
Coming down towards the start-finish straight there. Iman Danish managing to outfox the field a little bit there, but behind him, Kavinder Singh is 3 wide in a little bit of a difficult situation there. He's still going 3 wide, coming down towards turn 1. This is going to be very difficult indeed. Wow, luckily, I think that was Nevsky Chin there. Oh, they spoke too soon there. Nevsky Chin getting turned around there. So unfortunately, he has had to reverse the car out of the chicanes there. But meanwhile, Iman Danish has dropped down into 4th position right now. Not too sure what happened on the exit of the corner there, but it looks like Mohamed Taki, Simon Sanchez, and Abdul Hakim are able to overtake and go into 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, respectively. Iman now in a little bit of a difficult situation there, but I think he does have the pace to try and catch back up there. So a little bit of a messy start there, but to be honest with you, I was expecting a little bit more carnage at that corner. Then whoa, just spoke too soon there. Abdul Hakim going very wide there. We saw him going very wide in qualifying. So I wonder if he's just made the same mistake again, but on cold tires, it's very difficult to judge that. But meanwhile, Iman Danish managed to move up to 5th position, but he's under a lot of pressure from Melvin. Shami Aizan behind in 5th, and Abdul Hakim in 6th place there. Meanwhile, Mohamed Taki is in the lead, but only by 0.4 seconds to Simon Sanchez. So your positions right now, Mohamed Taki in 1st, Simon Sanchez in 2nd, Iman Danish in 3rd, Melvin Digit in 4th, and Shami Aizan in 5th. And we're on board with Abdul Hakim, who's managed to get his car back and up and running in 6th place. This front group has a little bit of a gap to the cars behind them. Mohamed Shukran's 2.6 seconds behind after all the chaos there in the first sector of the first lap of the race. 40 minutes in this race. It'll be a timed race, so once the 40 minutes are up, we will be on the final lap of the race. That's how that works there. Iman Danish, meanwhile, he's in 3rd position there. He's going to have to start defending quite a bit between Malvidijit Singh and Shami Aizan behind him. Two very fast drivers. Meanwhile, up ahead, it looks like Simon Sanchez and Mohamed Taki are very close together. There's 0.3 seconds there, 0.3 of a second between the two cars up at the lead of the race here. But this is very, very close indeed. Between 1st and 2nd, there's a battle. Between 3rd and 4th, there's a battle. That's one thing that's nice about Monza, is that there's a lot of slipstreaming. There's a lot of battles that can form.
Yeah, we got these super huge straights, right? And if you done it yourself, you know how much you can actually gain.
Ooh, this is for the lead here. Mohamed Taki there just about managing to keep ahead of Simon Sanchez, but I think Simon's got a little bit of a better top end on that car there. So it would be very interesting to see how, where or when he's going to get past, because I think Simon is in a position where he's able to actually do the attacking. I think Mohamed Taki is the driver with a bit of difficulty there, but I think Mohamed Taki is the driver with the back on the back foot there. It looks like Simon Sanchez had to lift though a little bit there just to make sure he didn't get caught up in someone else's accident. When you're in second place and you see the first place man drive off the road there, it can be a little bit difficult to keep your foot flat to the floor, because one half of your brain is thinking go for the lead, and the other half is thinking I don't want to be involved in another accident while you're in a podium position. Meanwhile there we can see there Simon Sanchez getting very close there. Iman Danish also starting to close up a little bit here. We can see there the top 4 positions are not safe by any stretch of the imagination. Simon Sanchez incidentally running a livery first made famous in the old BMW M6 Group A touring cars of the 1980s, and that is the BMW Original Tel or original parts livery there, and very, very interesting indeed to see that. Shami Aizan, meanwhile, he's going to try and slipstream past Abdul Hakim. He's going to try and go around the outside. Will he be able to get past? Coming down towards turn 1 here, hard on the brakes there. He's going to have to give a little bit of space there. Brilliant bit of driving from Shami Aizan, and he manages to squeeze ahead into the lead. A little bit of rubbing there, but I don't think that's too much difficulty there. But this battle looks like it's very, very hot indeed. Brilliant overtaking maneuver going around there. Often you see drivers making the maneuver stick, diving into turn 1 there, but the second part, that second apex, is very hard to actually try and make a move on. But if you get the car, just as we started to say that Shami Aizan was doing very well for himself there, the commentator's curse strikes again. Well, it wouldn't be iRacing if there isn't at least one of them, but it looks like Shami Aizan locked up the rear wheels coming into the second chicane. They're very strange.
I was about to say it was a great overtaking, and he gave him a lot of space when this happened. I'm not sure if there was a little collision there.
Yeah, not too sure myself there. It looked like he locked up the brakes a little bit. It might be a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B on that one. Wan Li Kui right now is right behind Azman Abdullah. Perhaps not quite gelling with the car this evening there. But Wan Li Kui there managing to try and get himself ahead there. He's going to try and go around the outside. Yep, Azman not seeing the point of trying to defend that too hard. Perhaps a little bit better to get the toe out of the car ahead. And to be fair, the BMW M4 really does push a rather large hole through the air there. Meanwhile, Zainal Hazim there again trying to go for an overtaking maneuver on Mazdi Mardini. It looks like it's going to be an all slipstream battle coming into the braking zone there. They brake side by side coming around the corner here. Around Parabolica, hard on the throttle there, using every single inch of the road there, and it looks like Zainal Hazim's managed to make it work fantastic stuff indeed. There tries to sell the dummy to Mazdi Mardini, but I think Mazdi's been around for quite a bit longer than that. Coming down towards the first corner there, looks like Mazdi's going to go on the counter-attack there. This is brilliant bit of racing for these drivers. They're hard on the brakes there. Can he actually try and claim the apex? He has, but it looks like Zainal Hazim had just a little bit more speed there. Oh, looks like Zainal Hazim there. Sorry. It looks like Mazdi Mardini spun the car. So they're just a little bit too hard on the throttle there to try and make that work. Meanwhile, oh my goodness, that looks like that was Shami Aizan there that's spinning out of the track. He's not having a lot of fun at that chicane, just quietly. That's the second time he's gone off there. To be fair, the curbs around that second chicane are absolutely lethal, especially in these GT3 cars. They don't have a lot of suspension stroke to get through there. Meanwhile, Yongmun Fai in the lone McLaren of the race, they're definitely proving that the McLaren still has it to compete at this level, although you do have to work quite hard to try and get the position there. It looks like he's managed to able to just swoop around the outside of Fairuz Fadzil there and bring himself closer into that top 10. He's in 11th place. He's on the cusp of that top 10 position there. Brilliant bit of overtaking there around the outside of one of the Mercedes drivers there. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Conn is pushing hard on Sharon Norafuddin right now. He's all over the back of the Mercedes coming down towards the start-finish straight here. Now this is an opportunity for Jeffrey Conn in the Lamborghini to try and make an overtaking maneuver stick here. Going past the start-finish gantry, can he gain any more top speed? This car doesn't quite have the top speed edge that the Mercedes has, but he's going to try and go under brakes there, just tries to sell the dummy, perhaps just trying to let Sharon Norafuddin know that he's there. Oh, it's worked a little bit there. There's a little bit of pressure there coming from Sharon Norafuddin. Jeffrey Conn tries to squeeze on the inside there. Brunei gets another position there, up into 6th place in the Ray-Ban branded Lamborghini there, coming down towards the braking zone here for the second chicane. There is Sharon Norafuddin going to try and do something there, not quite close enough, and it looks like that's a fantastic overtaking maneuver there from Jeffrey Conn. Brilliant bit of racing so far. We're only 8 minutes into this 40-minute race, and so far the racing has been absolutely fantastic all throughout there. And it looks like Sharon Norafuddin is not being left behind by Jeffrey Conn as well. I think this is one of many battles that's going to be happening all throughout the race. Listening to that fantastic roar of the Lamborghini engine as Azrael Nazli comes into the braking zone here. He is chasing after Muhammad Muhaimin in the Mercedes there. Whoa, big snap oversteer there, going onto the curbs, all four wheels onto the curbs there at Ascari. Very, very easy to have a big accident when you do that, but he's managed to make that stick there. Unfortunately, he's lost quite a lot of ground to the car ahead of him there. Muhammad Muhaimin managing to get a little bit of a reprieve going through that section there, but again, very, very scary stuff there. It looks like these drivers are struggling a little bit with the conditions.
Well, I gotta say, these curves looks they look scarier than I remember, to be honest. Especially the chicane, right?
Yeah,
it just seems so elevated. Like the car, like you said, also doesn't have a lot of suspension, I guess. The car flies out, lose a lot of traction, right?
Yeah, I guess, well, they have been talking a lot about the sausage curbs here at Monza. There's been a couple of high-profile accidents since they last redid all of that stuff. So perhaps they have actually updated iRacing with higher curbs to try and replicate that, which is a nice thing about iRacing. They do try and keep their content as up-to-date as they possibly can. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Conn there is all over the back of Sharon Norafuddin. Is this going to be another overtaking maneuver there? We sort of expected that the Mercedes are going to dominate the race here, but that's definitely not the case. Simon Sanchez is in the lead there in the BMW, the brand new BMW. Iman Danish is second with the Ferrari, and this is one of the cars that, despite being in Italy, being at Monza, the Ferraris weren't looking like they were going to be the car of choice or the best car for the track in these conditions right now. But fair play to Iman Danish. He obviously has a really good feeling with the car, and that sometimes counts for a lot. He manages to get around Parabolica there very nicely indeed, uses quite a bit of the track and maybe a few inches more there to try and get as much speed as possible. He's going to try and draft up behind Simon Sanchez. It's still very, very close. It's still anybody's race between the top two here right now. 0.5 of a second there is definitely not breathing room right now, and it looks like Iman Danish had a monster run coming into turn 1 there. Under brakes, the BMW looks a little bit better. Under acceleration, it looks just about even there. I think the main deciding factor is going to be whether the Ferrari can actually slipstream the BMW very well there. But 0.3 of a second between Simon Sanchez and Iman Danish. This looks like Iman might have a very, very good chance of actually making an overtaking maneuver stick within the next lap or so. Very, very interesting stuff indeed. But you can see there, as Iman's always been a driver that can attack the curbs and the sausage curbs a lot more than a lot of other drivers. He tends to be a bit calmer when he's sort of got only 2 wheels on the tarmac. But you can see how much the car tilts as it goes over the bumps there. Whoa, absolutely stunning driving there between Iman Danish and Simon Sanchez. Iman trying to put as much pressure as possible on the Macanese driver. I think that's what they call down there. The driver from Macau, Simon Sanchez there.
Macanese. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I have it in my notes somewhere, but I haven't looked at them for about a year now.
Wow, and Iman looks so comfortable. He's almost toying with it.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for a way past there. He knows that Simon Sanchez can be quite good on the brakes and quite good in defending, but it looks like Iman Danish looking on the inside there. Again, sometimes you just look on the inside purely and simply to try and put some more pressure on the car ahead.
Absolutely.
Filling up the mirrors there and just keeping him nervous. But this is close enough. This is going to be close enough for an overtaking attempt here. Let's see what Simon can do about Iman Danish there. Iman really tucked in up behind the rear wing. This is about as close as 2 race cars can get. But it looks like Simon's got just a little bit of a top speed edge coming into that first turn there. And that's keeping him alive. He must be running very little wing on his car in order to try and make that work. But that's one more battle, one more lap to battle that one out there. Meanwhile, Sharon Olofuddin is still trying to catch up to the back of Jeffrey Conn there. Ooh, big sideways moment there from Sharon Olofuddin. Jeffrey Conn, incidentally, gaining that 6th place off camera earlier on in the race there. But now Sharon Olofuddin definitely not going to leave Jeffrey Conn alone at this point in time. Coming up towards the 2nd chicane here. Let's see if he can do anything under brakes. They're, again, very, very close. There's a lot of close and very tense battles around here. Of course, the great thing about this track is that a lot of the long straights go into very hard braking zones, which are prime overtaking opportunities. But what's going against this track a little bit in terms of raceability is that the track is very, very narrow.
Some parts of it, yeah, correct. 2 cars.
Absolutely through the back of the track as well, and coming up towards this section here, you can see they can't make the track any wider because of the bridge parapets there. They are what they are. Mohamed Taki there is off the track there. He spun going through the Ascari chicane there. Again, could this be another another casualty of the curbs there? Meanwhile, Iman Danish cannot be any closer. I think he was bump drafting that BMW just about there, coming down towards the start-finish straight here. He is close enough to be able to read the serial number on the rear wing of that BMW right now as he comes down towards the braking zone there, underneath the timing tower, hard on the brakes there. You can see he has to brake just a little bit earlier in order to give Simon Sanchez room. Otherwise, that could be a very, very noisy and very expensive incident. Coming down towards the 2nd chicane right now through Curva Grande. Let's see if he can do anything here. It's been a tense few laps there for these 2 drivers. There's Simon Sanchez having to put up with a lot of pressure right now from Iman Danish coming up towards the braking zone here at turn 3 here. Hard on the brakes there. Again, looks like Simon Sanchez does have a little bit better brakes there at this point in time. He is able to brake quite a bit later into the chicanes there, and that might be the only thing that's keeping the lead for him in this race. The Iman Danish using every single inch of the track in order to make sure he is as close to that BMW as he possibly can get. Now coming up towards the Ascari chicane there. It's going to be very, very tense stuff. This is for the lead of the race, this battle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be very difficult stuff indeed. He has a look there coming down towards Ascari, not quite ready and willing and able to do it through there, but it looks like there's a bit of a mistake there from Simon Sanchez going through the Ascari chicane there. Iman Danish having to take a different line just in case anything went wrong there. This is very, very high level of driving from both drivers. Again, hard. Now looks like Simon Sanchez finally cracks. He has to defend going through this corner here, but if you defend going through Parabolica, you do run the risk of not being able to wind that BMW up for the next straight there, and it looks like this is going to be very close indeed between Iman Danish and Simon Sanchez. The tension is unbearable between these two drivers there, and it looks like Iman Danish is looking very, very confident behind him. At this point in time, it is just maximum pressure, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think he's also just waiting for the right moment, which is probably the best strategy. Because he is catching up on the straight. The BMW is braking, like you said, super late, but it is coping on the straights too. I think the top speed of the BMW is probably more than the Ferrari, is it?
It probably is, but also at the same time, I'm not too sure what the wing settings are, the car settings are for Monza. They could be running less wing on that Ferrari just to try and get a little bit more speed out of it. Meanwhile, we have Malvinderjit Singh and Abdul Hakim there in third and fourth position. Again, fighting very hard indeed. They're in a group of 2 Mercedes-Benz there, and they're ahead of Sharon Norafoudin 11 seconds ahead of Sharon Norafoudin there. So they're quite comfortable. They're battling for the last step of the podium there. Malvinderjit Singh almost trying a bit of rallycross coming out of the second Lesmos there underneath the banking there. Hard on the throttle there. Malvinderjit Singh is just about as close as you could possibly get. Ooh, it's absolutely a game of chicken going through that chicane that close. Coming into a braking zone when you're that close to the car ahead means you really have to know when the driver ahead is going to brake there. That is all down to observation. Where did he brake the last lap? Where did he brake the lap before that? Malvinderjit Singh again trying hard there, not quite close enough to try and overtake going to the inside of Parabolica, but he's got the speed there. Abdul Hakim running, washing a little bit wide there. Malvinderjit Singh tries to switch back to try and go around the outside to try and gain a little bit of pace there, but it looks like Abdul Hakim diving into the pits there. That perhaps is the best option there for Abdul Hakim. But it did look like Malvinderjit was going to overtake anyways there, but that was a really actually rather smart plan there. Instead of trying to take as much pressure as possible, jump into the pits and try and get out in some clear air, which he would possibly be able to do. Meanwhile, Sharon Norafoudin is now in fourth position there, and he's still got Jeffrey Conn right behind him. So these two drivers have been switching positions. We haven't been able to catch any of the overtaking maneuvers there, but Sharon Norafoudin almost gives us a real highlight, real worthy spin on the gravel there. How did he keep the car in a straight line, trying to put his foot down and keep Jeffrey Conn behind him at the same time? I do not know, but it looks like Jeffrey Conn's going to try and go around the inside there. He decides to bail at the last second. Again, this is very difficult to try and overtake through this section here. Ooh, big hit on the curb there for Cheryl. Perhaps the Mercedes, the one weakness with the Mercedes around this track here is that it doesn't seem to like the curbs very much indeed, and it looks like that's just giving Jeffrey Conn an opportunity going into the second Lesmos. They're going to try and go around the inside. They're very difficult to try and overtake through there, but that's given Jeffrey Conn a big headache in the form of Mohammed Mohaimin, who's right behind him. That mistake by Jeffrey Conn going through the second Lesmo has given a chance to Mohaimin there. He's going to go side by side coming towards the first corner there. It looks like Jeffrey Conn has to keep the position there, and that is a position for Mohammed Mohaimin. This 2-car battle for fourth position has now become a 3-car battle for fourth position. It's 20 minutes into this 40-minute race, and they're still this close. They're still racing this hard. This is absolutely incredible. As you can see there, still fighting hard there. I think this battle is going to go on for quite some time, at least until one of the drivers at least pits or has an accident at this point. Sharon Norafoudin is driving that Mercedes like he stole it. He definitely is driving it like he didn't pay for it, going through the chicanes here. Let's see how well he does at this chicane. Again, hard on the curbs there. Neatly around this time. He's managed to learn his lesson for the last time there. Looks like Mohammed Mohaimin is the driver to dip his car into the dirt just a little bit there. That's given Jeffrey Conn a little bit more of a thinking room there. A little bit more time to think, time to react, and time to try and formulate a plan there. 0.4 of a second between himself and Mohaimin. You can see how close the gap is right now. This isn't about catching the car ahead. This is about trying to get past the car ahead there. Jeffrey Conn having a look into Lesmo, not quite having the speed, the exit speed he needed to get around through there, using every single inch of the road, the curb, and a little bit extra as well there. He's going to do that again here, and he's going to try and dive into the inside there, to the left-hand side there. Now he's gone side by side. He's forcing Mohammed Mohaimin into the inside there. He's forcing Mohaimin to be defensive. Jeffrey Conn's been driving brilliantly all throughout this race there. Actually, all throughout this race, we've seen some fantastic driving. Whoa! Big bump over the curbs there. That is touring car style from Mohammed Mohaimin. Just all he could do to try and keep the speed up and to try and keep Jeffrey Conn behind him. But it looks like that's all in vain, because Jeffrey Conn is going to go side by side there, coming up towards the braking zone here. Will he be able to go around the outside? He's going to attempt it around the outside of Parabolica. It's Jeffrey Conn, and he's managed to make that move work. What a overtaking maneuver there from Jeffrey Conn there. Mohammed Mohaimin having to go a little bit out towards the outside there, but it's not over yet, because now Jeffrey Conn has the Mohammed Mohaimin has the toe there. Jeffrey Conn is the driver that has to defend, and you can see how much of a rocket that Mercedes is going down the straights here. Hard on the brakes here. Will Jeffrey be able to keep his Lamborghini on the inside there? He has been able to. Oh, there's contact. There's contact, and Jeffrey Conn runs a little bit wide there, and I don't think that was too intentional there. Mohammed Mohaimin backing off just a little bit to give Jeffrey Conn some space to recover the car there. Absolutely the right thing to do after that little situation there. But it means that Mohamed Taki and Azril Nazli has now joined this battle. This battle has just gotten absolutely incredible. Taki getting very close to the back there of Mohammed Mohaimin. There's a car that's gone off at the second Lesmo there. Not too sure what happened there, but now coming through the first Lesmo there and into the second, sorry, that was the second chicane I meant to say, but it's very difficult to get the words in order right now with all this excitement on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a long time, oh no, Mohaimin's gone off the track. I'm not too sure what happened there. I think he may have had something break either on the car or on his sim racing rig. It looked like the car just turned left there. Let's have a look at that again. Bang, straight into the barrier. I'm not too sure what happened. We'll see if we can get a replay from just before he hit the corner there. But that was very, very weird indeed. But I was just going to say that we had ourselves a full-on Adrenaline Impact, trademarked and copyrighted midfield battle. The unbroken streak. Ever since I started commentating on these sim races, we've always had a fantastic midfield battle, but now we have a fantastic battle for the lead of the race there. Simon Sanchez, how is he still managing to keep his nerves up there in first place? Incredible. Coming down towards the braking zone here. Again, beautiful sounds there from the Ferrari. I must admit, the old 360 Modena I think was the best sounding GT car, best sounding mid-engine GT3 car that Ferrari have produced. But this thing doesn't sound too bad in its place, and it definitely has a much more advanced engine, far more power than you used to be able to get from the 3.6 litre naturally aspirated V8 back in the Modena days there. Iman Danish still having a look, still trying to keep pace with Simon Sanchez there. And it looks like Iman's still trying to think of a way to get past there. There's obviously going to be some position where Iman will actually try and overtake Simon Sanchez. But it's going to be very interesting to see. Meanwhile, Mohammed Taki is still under a lot of pressure, this time from Azril Nazli there. Sorry, we're on board with Mohammed Taki there, and he's giving the pressure to Jeffrey Conn. Coming around the inside of the Ascari chicane there. They're going to go side by side through the Ascari chicane, and there we have it. Mohammed Taki managing to overtake very, in probably one of the hardest places on the track to try and overtake. Meanwhile, Iman Danish there trying to go for the overtaking maneuver now. Now is the time. He's managed to get a bit of speed there, but it looks like, again, that BMW just brakes that much later. Coming into turn 1. We've got battles going up and down the leaderboard here. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Conn is still trying to keep hold of that position there. He's trying to go on the inside of Azrael Nazli there. They're going to go side by side down the main straight. Who is it going to be? Who's going to brake first? They're just about drawing level right now, coming towards the braking zone here, but looks like Azrael has a little bit more space there. Jeffrey Conn tries to outbrake him coming down towards turn 1, and he's managed to make it work. Unbelievable stuff there, but he's gone wide. He's gone wide there, and that's given an opportunity for Azrael Nazli to try and overtake him again around the outside. Again, Jeffrey Conn managing to keep the car in a straight line on the dirt there. You can see he was fighting the car and trying to keep the car from rotating and spinning out. But it looks like Azrael Nazli has a bit of a chance there, but he decides discretion is the better part of valor. He's going to keep that counter-attack for another lap. How close was Jeffrey Conn to wiping out there? Just as I was saying, Mohamed Taki gets very sideways and into the dirt there, coming out of the second chicane, and that's given an opportunity for Leong Mun Fai to go ahead into 7th position. But Leong Mun Fai goes off the track. Leong Mun Fai, big accident there. For him, that's hard into the barrier. Meanwhile, Taufik Moyen is still holding off from Kelvinder Singh. Leong Mun Fai, there's a lot of drivers that are actually washing out wide and getting into the gravel. It's another difficult thing to try and master around this track here, because if you get the car half on the gravel and half on the tarmac, you put your foot down and the car just wants to spin out on you. There we go, Iman Danish going to try and make an overtaking maneuver. He's finally managed to draw alongside there, coming towards turn 1, over the curbs, using as much of the curbs as possible, and he's managed to make that move stick. Iman Danish is now in the lead of the race, but Simon Sanchez is all over the track right now, all over the back rather of Iman Danish in the Ferrari. Lights are flashing, going around Curva Grande. I tell you what, these two drivers are having an absolute ball of a time. You can tell by the way they're driving that they're having a lot of fun right now. Simon Sanchez poking the rear end of that car right up to the front roundel of that BMW there. Absolutely spectacular stuff indeed, but it does look like Iman Danish is quicker through the second sector of this track right now, using all of the curb again and just maximizing every single inch. Like I said, Iman Danish, a real student of racing lines there. He's trying to make every single trajectory, every single braking point, and every single acceleration zone work for him and the Ferrari right now, and he's doing a fantastic job of that. There you have it, our new race leader, Iman Danish. It looks like he's managing to actually really pull a big gap through the middle sector. That was where Simon Sanchez was losing the time there. So absolutely spectacular stuff there from Iman Danish, who's taken over the race lead. He did start this race in pole position, but he lost quite a few places at the start there. But now he is back into first place and back into the swing of things. Meanwhile, Kelvinder Singh has quite a big job up ahead there. He's got a couple of cars up ahead that he's going to have to try and overtake there, getting closer and closer, within a second of Sharon Norafuddin up ahead there. And Sharon Norafuddin in return is within a second of Mamataki there. So it looks like Kelvinder might be able to make a move stick. He did drop 3 positions since the start of the race there. He really desperately wants to get at least those 3 positions back. So there you have it, the positions right now coming towards the end of 30 minutes in this 40 minutes race with 10 minutes to go. Dah 30 minit, kita dah masuki minit ke-30 dalam perlumbaan 40 minit ini. 10 minit lagi untuk jalan di dalam race ni, dan di tempat dan di posisi sekarang pada masa ni ialah Iman Danish di tempat yang pertama, diikuti Simon Sanchez, Malvinder Singh, Jeffrey Conn, Azrael Nazli, Momataki. Kelvinder Singh managing to make that maneuver.
Oh, that's nice overtake from Kelvinder Singh.
Very nice maneuver there. The 2 McLaren-themed cars, they're having a bit of a battle there. Ayrton Senna racing against Mika Hakkinen there. Going through the chicanes there. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed for both drivers there. Kelvinder Singh neat little overtaking maneuver there. So I guess I'll try this again. In first place, Iman Danish, followed by Simon Sanchez. Malvinderjit Singh is in third. Jeffrey Khan is in fourth. Azrael Nazli in fifth, followed by Mamataki, Kelvinder Singh, Sharon Norafuddin, Taufik Moyen, Fairuz Fadzil, Abdul Hakim, Fred Ting, Leong Mun Fai, Azman Abdullah, Shame Aizat, Afiq Fadlan, Mohammed Shukran, and Mazdi Mardini, currently the final car out on track. We've had 22 drivers in this race this evening, an absolutely fantastic turnout for the return of the GT3 series here on Adrenaline Impact. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually our first series on iRacing all those months ago.
Yeah. One of the first, yeah. We obviously started off with MX-5 and we went into Kias and we went into other cars also. But before this GT3 was always our go-to class.
Yeah. I mean, I remember before we even started the series, we had those one-off races before the start of the first AIMC championship, and that was the GT3 series, the series of one-off races where we learned the ropes of running this championship, and it's been a wild ride since then. So thanks to all the viewers for watching us through all these years. 2 years now.
You see Kevin gaining from 1.2 seconds gap is decreasing until 0.4 right now.
Yeah, he's getting
I
closer.
think it's either that I think Taki is having mechanical issues with his car.
Perhaps he has been in the wars in the chicanes recently. You can see some of the tire marks of some of the drivers have gone quite a bit wider, taking a suboptimal racing line, shall we say, through some of the corners there. But it looks like Kelvinder Singh definitely has the pace to really fight back in the closing stages of this race here. He's up at the 7th position right now. Again, he desperately wants to get back to 5th place, and the best thing for him to do right now is to try and close up to Mamataki, who's also closing up to Azrael Nazli right now. So there's another couple of positions there for Kelvinder Singh if he can get those overtaking maneuvers. But
meanwhile, Max, let's see what's going on at the top end of this leaderboard.
Yeah, in the meantime, Simon Sanchez still behind Iman Danish right now. Iman Danish not running away with this race quite yet. He has managed to open up a bit of a gap right now, but not a very, very big one indeed. He's definitely not going to be dominating this race. He's had to fight hard in order to keep this race going. But there you go, Iman Danish in first position, Simon Sanchez in second place. Very, very hard on the brakes there. You can see how planted the BMW is under braking. He's had that brake balance set up perfectly. They're going through these high-speed Lesmo curves there. You can see the Ferrari just a little bit more composed, of course. Iman Danish, again, very different driving style in order to try and make that Ferrari work through the higher speed corners there. BMW a little bit more planted, so he can use a little bit of a tighter racing line. But I think Simon Sanchez can close up in the first and third sectors. It's that middle sector that really is Iman Danish's strong point there. You can see he gains the positions there, but by the time they get to the Ascari chicane, another big braking zone there, and another acceleration zone coming out of there. Again, big gains there for Iman Danish compared to Simon Sanchez. Meanwhile, this battle is still getting messy right now. Azrael Nazli is coming in for seconds there. Kelvinder Singh again managed to get himself up into 10th position. Azrael Nazli, meanwhile, he must have the overtaking award for the race right now. He's given that position back. I'm not too sure if there's something that happened off camera, but it looked like Kelvinder Singh actually gave that position back to Azrael Nazli. So I think they may have been either a little bit of contact or something, but that was definitely a position given back, which is nice to see the nice gentlemanly driving that we see. Of course, GT3 Racing, famous for having a pro driver and a gentleman driver in the endurance races. That's the system they have. It's pro-am racing in these GT3 cars there. Fantastic stuff indeed. But Azrael Nazli, just as we were about to say it, big he was doing very well, overtaking 11 cars since his starting position. But unfortunately, the Adrenaline Impact iRacing commentator's curse strikes again. Meanwhile, Charel Norofude.
Yeah, we got two bulls here playing around. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. The two Hyperbulls cars this time cosplaying as retro McLaren cars, even though they're driving Mercedes, but never mind. Charel Norofude in there in 7th position. 0.5 of a second behind Kelvinder Singh. These guys have been battling for quite some time right now, and I know when they're racing outside of official Hyperbull business, they are pushing those cars through the limit. They do not want to give each other any room at all. It's always fun to see two bulls racing together there. And you can see that Taufik Mohin, he's had a real up and down race. I've seen him go quite far up and quite far down the leaderboard there. I think he's going to have a really interesting race there. Incidentally, if you want to see these drivers, see the race from the driver's point of view, see their reactions and comments, a lot of these drivers are streaming, including Kelvinder Singh, who's streaming under the handle of KSS Gaming, I do believe. And quite a few other drivers. Big accident there! Big accident between Farouz Fazil and Taufik Mohin there. Oh, that is...
No, with Hakim.
With Hakim. Abdul Hakim, sorry, I do apologize. But yeah, that is a big accident. Let's have a quick look at the replay there. Coming around the outside there, we can see there a little bit of damage actually already on the back there. He's going to try and dive in on the inside there, hard on the brakes, managing to get the nose of the Mercedes forward there, but bang, a little bit too close for comfort. Going the outside of this was so easy because you're carrying so much speed through that corner. It's so easy for the two cars to just slide out wide and squeeze each other tight into the exit of that corner there, and that could, along with the gravel there, really gives us a big accident there. Farouz Fazil still able to carry on there, although there's quite a bit of damage on that Mercedes. Still hanging on to that top 10 position, but not for long. It looks like Leong Mun Fai is going to take that top 10 placing, and Farouz Fazil is going to have to head into the pits for some emergency repairs. So Leong Mun Fai now into the 10th place position there. Of course, top 10, that's points in Formula 1. And he's going to be quite happy with that, although he'll be even happier if he catch up with Fred Ting before the end of the race. Not too much time though, only 2 minutes left in the race. But right now we've got Azril Nazli, the two black stealth cars there fighting with each other there. I'm not too sure if it's stealth or if they need some sponsorship. For sponsorship opportunities, do contact Leong Mun Fai. But in the meantime there, Leong Mun Fai looks like he's able to actually keep that McLaren up ahead of the Lamborghini just through that opening few quarters of the lap there. 0.9 seconds going through the Lesmos there. We see the Lamborghini has its strengths and weaknesses compared to the McLaren, but that's the great thing of GT3 racing. Even though the cars are quite evenly matched, they handle very differently. They are very different race cars. The Lamborghini is a space frame, aluminium and steel construction with carbon fiber body panels on top, whereas the McLaren is built like a Formula 1 car. It has a carbon tub as its chassis. So very different approaches to building a GT3 car, but the end results can be quite similar. There we see them, Momataki there. In the Mercedes, trying to catch back up with Jeffrey Conn. Jeffrey, I think, definitely driver of the day there. He's had some absolutely spectacular overtaking maneuvers there, absolutely been entertaining from start to finish. And I think the entertainment for him is going to carry on for quite a bit longer. Although I do reckon this is going to be the final lap of the race indeed. We have only 5 seconds to go before the end of the race there. Iman Danish won't be starting another lap soon. He knows it already. It's the final corner of the lap. The time has elapsed. I believe the checkered flag is going to show for Iman Danish coming around the final corner here. He's going to take the nice long wide line there. And you can tell he's definitely looking forward to flashing his lights, waving at the Tifosi and winning the race. There we have it. Iman Danish wins the race there from Simon Sanchez. A nice bit of showmanship there from Iman Danish to slow right down and set up a photo finish beautiful stuff indeed. Meanwhile, Mohamed Taki is going to give Jeffrey Kong one more thing to worry about before the final lap of the race. And Movidijit Singh managing to come home with the third place, incidentally, but Jeffrey Kong managing to keep that position on the inside there. Will there be a switchback? There will be a switchback. Mohamed Taki sneaks up on the inside there. They're going to go side by side, coming towards the final corner there. Who's got the better run out of the corner there? It looks like Jeffrey Kong manages to take that home in fourth position, with Mohamed Taki fifth place, 0.032, 3,000th of a second behind there. What a finish to the race there. Kavinder Singh comes home in sixth place, Sharon Norafud seventh, Taufik Moyen in eighth place. Fred Ting there is still coming around the line there. There's still a battle between Leong Mun Fai and Azrael Nazli. They're 0.3 of a second away, but it's not going to be enough there from Azrael Nazli. Is going to be Leong Mun Fai that comes home in 10th position and Azrael Nazli in 11th. I'll tell you what, I have not seen a GT race this entertaining in a very long time. I guess the drivers have been waiting for this for quite some time, huh?
Yeah.
They have 23 laps were covered in 40 minutes, 41 minutes roughly, 40 minutes and 38 seconds from memory. So a very fast race for all the drivers there. Azman Abdullah glad to come home across the line there. Fairuz Fazil will be the last driver to cross the line, but he won't finish last. He's in 14th position there, and very well done indeed, despite carrying that damage. So fantastic stuff from all the drivers there. Iman Danish, brilliant race win.
Yeah, Max, good race overall and fairly safe, right? We only saw a few people going off.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be back soon, I guess, with more racing.
Yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful. The driving, the racecraft shown by all these drivers have been absolutely fantastic. Very close, very tight, but very clean racing indeed. But congratulations will go to Iman Danish in first position. In second place is Simon Sanchez, and in third position, Movidijit Singh. That's your podium there. There is a driver from Macau in second position and a driver from Brunei in fourth place there with Jeffrey Kong. So quite an international top five there on the field there. Mohamed Taki in fifth place, followed by Kavinder Singh, Sharel Norafuddin, Taufik Moyen, Fred Ting, Leong Mun Fai, Azrael Nazli, Azman Abdullah, Shami Aizan, Fairuz Fazil, Muhammad Shukran, Mazdi Mardini, Abdul Hakim, and Afiq Fadlan there in 18th place. Brilliant stuff indeed, as we saw there. Very interesting tactics there from Iman Danish. He slowed the field right up before gunning it across the line there. Brilliant bit of tactical driving there, and again taking his time to try and overtake Simon Sanchez there. That is definitely a veteran's move from Iman Danish, still in his teens, may I remind you. So absolutely fantastic stuff there. Although I suppose in iRacing terms, he's pretty much a veteran at this point.
Oh, for sure he is, man. He's got a lot of hours in the sim. He's got a lot of potential, this guy. Absolutely amazing, yeah.
And another driver that's made the move from sim racing into real life motorsports as well. And it's a nice trend to see. It's great to see that you don't have to spend loads and loads of money in order to hone your racecraft before you get into real life motorsports by going karting or driving the junior formula, which could be very expensive. These drivers are learning quite a lot of that stuff in the sim, which it can be a little bit expensive in gaming terms, but it's very cheap in motor racing terms.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff indeed. We do have Afiq Fadlan in the studio there. So Afa, how was your race?
It was pretty bad. I haven't touched the sim for, I guess, 2 months and a half probably. So I need some more practice.
Still, there's no better time to start than now, I suppose, there. So you might as well join us. Thanks for joining us, incidentally. Are you going to be doing quite a bit more iRacing in the future?
I hope so, because technically speaking, I just finished my most major job for the year.
Nice.
So I've got some of this stuff in plan, but I'm hoping to do a lot more racing from now on. Hopefully, I have more time. Hopefully.
Absolutely, we hope so too. And of course, these GT3 cars, it's sort of evergreen racing at this point. We're hoping that we can actually bring some more championships in iRacing before the end of the year. But speak for yourself. Do you really enjoy these GT3 cars?
It's actually when Formula One became stale, GT3 was one of my go-to series that I watched. So that's when I start learning about endurance, and then we have sprints and stuff, right? So it's like my calling. GT3 is like my calling. I know I can't drive Formula One cars. I'm just too old to drive that, and I don't have the reaction time for a Formula One car. Definitely not. So yeah, GT3 is the car to go. And speaking of which, the handling in iRacing has been, I don't know, improved like 10 times from last time that I drove it. I can't remember when. So I was quite amazed with the response. It felt a lot more like ACC. A bit of R Factor 3, R Factor 2 there, but the feedback was there. Hopefully, we can get more after this.
Well, that's nice to know. It's nice to know that the iRacing physics have really improved by quite a lot in the last couple of months. We've been reading about that quite a bit as we were doing our AC events, and it's been quite exciting to actually come back and revisit this iRacing. And GT3 iRacing, that's like the stereotypical racing sim racing league right there. But it's stereotypical for a reason, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like, I don't know, all the cars that you ever dreamt of driving, but, modified to the max, and then driving on famous tracks. Perhaps one day we can get Sepang on iRacing, perhaps. That's like the biggest dream of all. So, yeah, GT3.
You hear that? You hear that iRacing? It's not just drivers from here, but drivers all around the world actually have been waiting for Sepang to jump onto the iRacing bandwagon. So who knows? Hopefully we'll be able to see that happen. I'm sure there's an awful lot of drivers that would love to see that come.
Guys, I think we need to start a petition. We gotta start an online petition to iRacing. What do you think?
Definitely.
Get 20,000 signatures. I think we can do this.
Yeah. So there you go. We might be onto something. The grassroots movement. So there you have it. That has been the GT3 series, the return of the GT3 series, and the Autodromo Nacional Monza. Of course, classic racetrack, classic racing, not classic cars, very, very modern cars, but an absolutely evergreen category. Thanks a lot, Afa, for joining us in the studio. It's been nice chatting to you as usual. And thanks to Javier Alvarez, who's been the expert there, expertly chiming in whenever I've had to take a sip. It's been a while since I've done this solo, so thanks for joining in.
Thank you, Max.
And of course, thanks to our director, Carlo Alang. Brilliant stuff there. Nick Wafdi saying GT3 always gives good battles. I have to agree with that one. Don't you agree with that, Alang?
Yeah. You see the gaps between them, all the cars from the first lap to the finish, they're not that big. They're very close racing, so it's exciting to watch. Yeah.
Absolutely, and hopefully we'll be bringing you more GT3 content, more iRacing content as the months wear on. But for now, that's going to be it for us here at Monza. It's been an absolute pleasure to return to iRacing, absolute pleasure to return to GT3 racing on iRacing, and an absolute pleasure to be working with the ASRF and Speed Tavern along with our media partners Gallery Creator. Terima kasih kepada semua penonton Gallery Creator yang sudi menemani kami pada malam ini. But that's going to be it from myself, Max Palmer, along with Javier Alvarez and all the guys here in the studio. Special thanks to Afa. We will see you all in the next stream. But for now, bye for now.
Bye bye.
Ta-ra.
Oh.